Go ahead.
Well, good evening. I want to thank you for joining us this evening on our health talk, and we're focusing on diabetes and regulating blood sugar, just how to curb sugar cravings. Some of you know that I've been with this company for over 35 years, and I'm so grateful that the company has some products that help with this department because I'm a foodie. I love to eat. But just when you understand the healthy food choices and how you can eat to help to regulate blood sugar so you don't have those cravings, it really is a real game changer. And especially as we get older and as we start aging, it's so important, for our bodies, for our mind, to prevent some of these conditions that can really happen at a young age. And I'm so grateful to have Maryellen Vandenbrink, our holistic nutritionist, here with us this evening, that's going to dive in and just give a really a great description on what is diabetes, and to help us understand the differences between type 1 and type 2, and because it's a complicated disease, but there's simple things that we can do to control and regulate and even prevent, which I think is more important, to help people understand that prevention is the key. So Maryellen, thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Yeah, thank you so much, Nada, because as you mentioned, like you can live very healthy life with diabetes, but when diabetes is out of control, or even we want to try and prevent it, especially with our children and young people, because when you look at the stats, every 3 minutes, another Canadian is being diagnosed with diabetes. 29% of Canadians are living with diabetes or pre-diabetes, and I think that's probably even higher. And that's going to raise by 33% by 2025, which is not far away at all. So when you and the cost that it's causing, and the number of deaths, and just the disability it's causing to people, it's something we don't want to have to deal with. So what does it say? 15 to 30% of pre-diabetics will develop type 2 in 5 years if they don't implement lifestyle change. And that's what we're going to talk a lot about tonight. And people with pre-diabetes who take part in a structured lifestyle change, they can cut their risk of developing type 2 by as much as 58%, which is huge. Diabetes is the seventh leading cause of death, and 92% of type 2 cases are preventable. So the risk for death of adults is 50% higher than those without, because of course your risk for heart disease and many other things goes up. And what's the primary cause of diabetes? Poor nutrition. So why is regulating our blood sugar so important? For optimizing cellular energy, for minimizing the risk of diabetes, and we want to maximize that fat burning for weight loss, because if your blood sugar is out of control, you cannot lose weight. So what happens when your blood sugar, you don't have that proper cellular glucose transport? Things can happen like hypoglycemia. That's when, all of a sudden, your blood sugar bottoms out, you start getting shaky and headachy and irritable. You have lots of glucose, but what happens? Your cells have no energy. And that excess glucose, it actually acts as an oxidant, so it destroys our cells. It damages your microcirculation. And that's why diabetics have much higher issues with eye health, and they can lose their limbs. It increases your heart disease, can damage your body. As I mentioned, eyes, kidneys, nerve damage, ulcers, and infections. Often you don't heal very well either. So it's not fun. So from head to toe, diabetes strikes nearly every part of the body. And you can see here, eyes, heart, nerves, feet, kidneys, and brains. So you know what? We definitely want to prevent that type of damage. So what's the whole, like a real simple analogy of how it works? Well, we call this little fellow here, he's our Mr. Insulin, right? And what he does, he kind of opens the door in the cells to allow insulin in. So if you think of it kind of like a school. So here's the door, and that Mr. Insulin wants to get into the classroom. So glucose is the student, so they're out there waiting, and he's knocking on the door. When things are working well, the door opens, the glucose goes into the cell, we produce energy, and we don't get a buildup, which is so important. But things can go wrong, right? And this is when your cells become, you hear that term, insulin resistant. So now we've got those students out there, and all of a sudden the door's kind of locked and shut. It's that cell wall is not letting, that cell membrane is not allowing the the insulin, the glucose in. So all of a sudden, there's more and more glucose starts building up, or more students build up in the hallway. And then you get Mr. Insulin, he's banging on that door, but your cell is resistant now. So it won't open up. So all of a sudden you have all this glucose, you're tired because you can't get the glucose in your cell, and your body tries harder and harder and harder. And this is what's the start of pre-diabetes, right? And then what happens with this, like students, when they're left out in the hallway, or sugar, it starts destroying everything in the body. And this is where the damage starts to take place. So this is, that's a very simple analogy, but this kind of shows you here how it works. You have the glucose in your bloodstream. It goes into that cell because you have those receptors. Everything's working right. You can see that sugar just goes into the cell and everything is good. But what can go wrong? If you have no insulin in your body at all, which sometimes happens when your pancreas has become damaged, it's often from autoimmune diseases, it's very common in children, the glucose can't get into the cell at all, right? So this is what you call type 1 diabetes. So in this situation, you always have to have insulin because your body can't produce it. The second type is when you get these desensitized receptors, which I was showing in the classroom there, where the receptors are overworked and not functioning. So insulin is in the bloodstream, but it can't get into the cell. And that's what we call type 2 diabetes. So how do we prevent this disaster from happening? Well, research shows you can minimize it by 58% by exercising moderately for 30 minutes a day. Very, very important. Exercise plays a big role in sugar regulation at any time. Losing 5 to 7% of your body weight if you need to lose weight, and eating healthy. So it's like, as Nada said, it's pretty simple steps. Because how do we resensitize these insulin receptors? Well, medication can do it, but again, there's side effects with a lot of the medications. They add insulin to force these receptors to work, but they increase insulin sensitivity. But you can increase insulin sensitivity much safer by making lifestyle and nutritional changes. And here you can see the New England Journal of Medicine showed that the reduction of the incidence of type 2 diabetes with intervention, or again, metformin is one of the drugs, but again, there's side effects with it. So Nada, do you want to share how, the 3 keys for actually getting ourselves in good health?
When you talked about the changes that you can make, we've had amazing testimonials with people just making changes just to their lifestyle by managing their weight, by increasing their physical activity and just making better food choices. These are the first steps that you need. And good nutrition can help lower risk for many chronic diseases, including heart disease, stroke, some cancers, diabetes, osteoporosis. And this was from the Center for Disease Control. And the Canadian Food Guide back in 2019 made an amazing change. I know, Maryellen, you're really happy to see this change, when it happened, because the other guide, it really wasn't really a healthy way of eating. And here's an example of, how your plate should look, where half of your plate should be those dark colored fruits and veggies, a little bit of protein, good quality whole grains, and water should definitely be your drink of choice. Now, this was a study that came out of Lancet, and it was done in over 190 countries. It's what we aren't eating is what is actually killing us. And this was a global study, and they found we weren't eating enough whole grains, fruit, nuts, and seeds, low omega-3, and low vegetables. And that's why when you look at these foods, we're not getting enough, but it's because a lot of these nutrients are also not in some of these foods, especially when you're looking at the whole grains, because our grains today are no longer whole. This is what drew me to the company 35 years ago, because I didn't understand why I was so tired all the time. I had really bad, my hormones were unbalanced, but these whole grains that I thought I was eating, I didn't know that the grain oils were no longer in the grain. They used to grow wheat, grind wheat, make the flour and make the bread, and the good fats, those oils, were still in the husk of the grain. And these are essential fats. They're good quality fats that we need. When they talk about good fats, these are the good quality fats, but they're no longer in our food, because our breads now last how long? Weeks, whereas 70 years ago, they only had a day shelf life. We call this the great grain robbery. They wanted mass production, longer shelf life, and they mill out all these critical nutrients, those precious oils, and you're left with this starch, white flour, this gluten product that many people today have difficulty breaking down. They can't digest it. And that's why so many people have gluten sensitivities and wheat sensitivities. And there's only two ways to get these oils back in your diet. You can buy all these fresh, non-rancid whole seeds and grains and grind them all yourself if you want. But boy, could you imagine the work that would be involved? Or take Tran, and Tran, even just one of these capsules, it takes 550 extra calories, or in one Tran, what are you looking at? Only, I think it's I think if you click the slide one more time, I think yes, 8.3 calories. So, when you're looking at the amount of food, the amount of calories, Tran is such a simple way. And this is a product, when I started taking this 35 years ago, the energy, the mental clarity, the hormonal balance, these are the nutrients that were missing from my food. They're no longer in our food. And that's why pastas and breads have such a longer shelf life. So Tran are the essential lipids from the whole grains. But guess what? Less gluten than a bowl of gluten-free cereal. So if you have sensitivities to wheat and grain, you're going to be fine with this amazing product. It was clinically proven to help promote cellular energy and efficiency, making your cells work better. And that's when people start taking it, you notice such a huge difference. Now, when you're looking at supplements, this is where I was at 35 years ago. My mom was taking a variety of different supplements, and they weren't making a difference at all. No results until we looked at Neolife as a nutrition company. And Maryellen, being a holistic nutritionist, the challenges that people have, especially now. I was going back 35 years ago, but even today, there's so many challenges when you're looking at, where am I going to get my supplements? Who can you trust?
That's so true, Nada, because there's so many products out there and everybody says their product's the best. And there's definitely huge differences. And a lot of people think, well, just because it's in a store, it's safe. And as you can see here, researchers, they actually tested 776 products, and they found hidden active ingredients that were unsafe and unstudied in numerous of these products. So you really have to trust who you're dealing with. And I know myself, when I was introduced to Neolife, the fact they've been around since 1958, never had a dietary recall. They have a pharmaceutical license for manufacturing. They're in over 50 countries around the world, and they meet or exceed the health standards of all of these countries. Like I was just so impressed with the good fact that it's made from whole food, so it's based in nature, but it's backed by really, really solid evidence-based research. And when people ask me, what do you look for in a supplement? Well, people think because it's natural that it's okay, but natural is anything from the ground. So as you can see on the left here, all these ingredients are natural and they're in supplements. But the difference is Neolife uses those foods that you talked about that we're not eating enough of, the whole grains, the fruits and vegetables, the wild salmon, and everything is GMO free. And when I met Dr. Arthur First, the founder of Neolife Scientific Advisory Board, I was just so impressed, one of the top toxicologists in the world. And he set up this whole board of world-renowned scientists and researchers, and they're actually involved in the research and development of the product. They're not just a good-looking doctor who endorses it. And they're world-renowned, known around the world for, for their wonderful research. And when you look at Dr. First, he actually founded the Stanford Cancer Chemotherapy Laboratory. He was with Neolife for over 25 years. And the reason he joined up with them is because of that whole food philosophy. Because when he was doing his research in cancer, he found nutrients in food prevent disease. So because of Neolife using whole foods, he joined up with them in the 1970s. And so he's sort of the leading mind behind all of the products. And what's so neat about Neolife is we actually get to meet these scientists. This is a picture of Nada and I. We were at a convention many years ago, and we got to talk to him and ask him questions, and that's very, very rare. And one of the most important things is there good evidence-based science behind the products? The Neolife products are independently tested and published in peer-reviewed journals. And you can see these are just a few of the many journals that they've been published in, very well respected, like even the New England Journal of Medicine. So Nada, do you want to share how we can fill that gap of what we're missing in our diet? Because this is the foundation for diabetes too. You have to have your nutrients there in the first place.
Well, getting those nutrients that are missing, especially from that Lancet study, Maryellen, that we talked about earlier, not getting enough grains, fatty fish, right? The nuts and seeds. So all these good quality fats and good quality oils and our fruits and veggies, we're just not eating enough. And when you're looking at diabetes and any condition as we age, we need to make sure our cells are getting the nutrients that they need. And these are the 4 key nutrients that are in this vitality pack. That is our, like we call this our core nutrition. It's the foundation. It has 4, I call them magic pills. You know, it has 1 tRNN grain concentrate, that are those lipids from the grain. It has a carotenoid, which is like your fruits and vegetables, the dark colors, 1 omega-3 fish oil, and a multivitamin. So it really is a Cadillac of multis. So again, just a quick review over tRNN. These are the lipids and sterols from the grain, and it was developed after a hospital research study, and it was clinically proven to help your cells absorb nutrients better. So look at the cell on the left. You know, the nutrients are going in and waste is going out because these lipids, the left, the nutrients can't get in and can't get out because the lipids are not in the diet. So the cell membrane is leathery, it's hard, and the nutrients are struggling to get in. When you look at the cell on the right, the nutrients are going in, waste is going out. So this is how our cells should be functioning. And that's why so many people today are struggling with low energy and hormonal imbalance. So nutrition begins at the cellular level. The next stage is protecting your cells. When you look at the cells, your cells have over 10,000 hits a day, free radical hits. What does that mean? When you breathe in oxygen, right? Oxygen is kind of like rusting your body from the inside out. I'm going to give you an example. When you cut an apple in half and you expose it to air, it turns brown. It's rusting, right? So that's called oxidative damage. And oxidative damage is a big issue. And so is inflammation. Recent studies show that inflammation is the root cause of disease. And omega-3 fish oil, the salmon oil, helps to reduce inflammation. And our salmon oil plus has all 8 omega-3, tested for 200 contaminants, with an allowance of 0, pure Atlantic cold pressed fish, clinically proven to reduce inflammation 68% in just 8 weeks. This is an amazing product to reduce inflammation. And new research on omega-3s, again, it was proven increased intake of a long chain omega-3s may reduce diabetes risk by more than 30%. And this was published back in 2014. So this is so important. We're not getting enough fish, and inflammation, again, is one of the root causes. So when you supplement with omega-3, it reduces inflammation. And when you don't have enough omega-3, you have inflammation in the body. So it's really hard. Again, clinically proven to help to reduce triglycerides, improved omega-3 to omega-6 ratio by 43%, and lowers the inflammatory index 68% in just 8 weeks. This is pretty powerful. And then there's a multivitamin. So in that pack, you're getting your fruits and veggies, the carotenoids, and I think I missed that one slide, but the one capsule that's in that box is like eating 80 pounds of dark colored fruits and veggies. So it protects you from oxidizing. 1 omega-3, 1 tRNN, and a multi. So again, a Cadillac of multi. So the benefits of this amazing product are all of these things, you know, and when you're looking at aging, lifelong cellular health plays such a critical role and very important for diabetes as well. Now, Maryellen, when you're looking at obesity, what's happening around the world?
I know, unfortunately, especially our youth, that they're not as active now. They're in front of screens more. So there's a lot of kids who are getting very, very overweight, and you see it everywhere now. And it's going to start affecting their health, because they're actually finding that, like, type 2 diabetes used to be known as like an old age disease, and now children are getting it. And it's now one of the most common chronic diseases among children and youth. Type 1 is the main form in this population, but type 2, as I mentioned, which was viewed as an adult disease, is on the rise. And even back in 2016-17, approximately 3.2 million Canadians were living with diabetes, and 1 in 333 children aged 1 to 19. So That's really, really scary because the younger you are that you get diabetes, the more risk you have of the damage of diabetes, especially, kids like when they're teenagers, it's so difficult to get them to manage their blood sugar because at that age they think they're invincible, right? So they have hormonal changes that impact their glycemic levels. So there's a lot of issues that we're dealing with. So how do we protect our kids? Because poor nutrition is the primary cause. So by increasing this is from the Center of Disease Control. So by increasing your children's nutrition, you can make a huge difference. And Neolife has an amazing program for kids. Liquivite is a children's vitamin, so it's not like those gummies. It contains those lipids and phytosterols, those good fats that Nada was talking about that are critical for cell health, for growth, development, for your heart, for everything. The studies that are backing this up are incredible. And then, of course, the salmon oil is great for kids. And we have a lot of kids who take it and chew it because, again, it reduces inflammation. And then when they get a little older, they can chew the VitaSquares and VitaGuard, which is like the Treonin and the carotenoids and the multivitamin all in one. So it's a great program. And what do most people eat for breakfast? Like I hear it all the time. I talk to a lot of people, they don't eat anything at all. So you think their blood sugar is all over the place. A lot of them will have, just coffee, or they'll have bagels or toast, or because it's fast, right? And it's easy. And what are our kids eating? Oh my gosh, they love all these sugary, sweet, because the marketing on these just keys right into kids. And this is just, terrible for their blood sugar. It's just so scary. So why is protein and blood sugar so important? Well, protein slows down the absorption of carbohydrates, including glucose, which is sugar, right? Protein is a low glycemic food, and a modest increase in protein combined with a modest reduction in high sugar foods leads to weight loss and improved glycemic control. So important. And as far as management, protein consumption has a significant effect on satiety. So what that means is you feel full faster. Because a lot of times, if you eat something that's high carb, like bread or something, you're hungry like half an hour later, you're starving. And even a moderate increase in dietary protein combined with exercise helps regulate body weight by increasing thermogenesis, which means your body burns fat, right? And this is why blood sugar control is so important, because you see that line on the red? That's what happens when you get up in the morning and you have maybe toast or cereal, your blood sugar spikes. And then the body says, danger, danger, starts secreting insulin, then you get too low. So all day you're on this, what we call the glycemic roller coaster. And this is very, very damaging. You have no energy, you store fat, you're damaging your body. You want to be in that blue zone. So important. And it actually helps prevent diabetes and heart disease as well. And Anna, do you want to share what's about our Neolife shake?
So when you're looking at protein, Maryellen, you hit it on the nail when it comes to protein for breakfast and what are kids starting. A lot of adults are even starting with a lot of those carbs. Sometimes you just have to look at the Tim Hortons lineup in the morning, right? Protein is something, when I was introduced to the Neolife shake, what a difference it made in how I felt, because as some of you know, I was working as a police officer in the city, and that morning start, I just never knew what to eat in the morning, and coffee was my go-to. But when I introduced this Neolife shake, what a difference in how I felt during the day. Now I understood, or shortly later, I understood that it was because it was regulating my blood sugar. And the Neolife shake is an excellent product to do this. It's completely natural, has all 22 amino acids. That means it's a complete protein, 18 grams of protein, 5 grams of fiber. It has that glycemic control response. When we talk about blood sugar control, it was clinically proven to do this. It has vitamins and minerals, whole food antioxidants. So it is a meal replacement for those of you that are meal skippers, or for your kids that don't like to have a meal or or they like a sugary snack. This is a fantastic snack or a great way to start your morning, especially for breakfast. There's nothing artificial. I know, Maryellen, these are your grandchildren, your kids and your grandkids grew up on these products. My boys grew up on the Neolife shake, and now they're in their 20s and they still have a protein shake every single day. And this is just an important way to start your day. And when you're looking at obesity, again, It is a mega trend, and you're looking at 2.1 billion people are now overweight and obese. That's a third of the world's population. So extra weight significantly increases your risk for diabetes. So our kids today and adults need to start their day with better nutrition, nutrient-rich diet, losing weight, increased physical activity. It definitely is a lifestyle disease. So making some of these changes can really, really impact your life. So do you want to shrink? Do you want to lose belly fat? Are you struggling with your weight? The Neolife Shake is just a great way to get your blood sugar regulated, put you in that fat burning zone, and a great way to start your weight loss journey. And we have a system called Proven 33 that gets you in a system with support. And you start with the 3-day detox. You go into that, and then go right into our weight loss solution, where we've had amazing success with weight loss and diabetes, regulating blood sugar in a very healthy way, because you're not just living on protein shakes. Okay, you're actually having good quality protein. This is what our 3-day detox looks like. I love it because it's only 3 days. And even if you don't need to lose weight, it's a great system just to detox all the toxins from your body. You feel great, you feel light, you feel clear and clean. And again, it's only 3 days, and you eat a lot of fruits and veggies. So it's not one of these programs where you just live on liquid. So you're doing an amazing, a lot of healthy eating with a lot of great elimination. And we have it, we call it Proven 33 because you start for the first 3 days doing a detox, and then for the 30 days there's virtual health coaching the entire time. You get daily text messages every day just to guide you along your weight loss and your fitness journey. So just a very simple, easy system to follow. And we recently have one of our newer promoters, Liz, that's going to share her story. It might be a little low, guys, so we've had difficulty with sound. So put your ear close to the computer, because Liz has a beautiful story to share in regards to regulating blood sugar.
Hi, my name is Liz Brayman, and I have been on the Neolife weight loss program for 30 days now, and I have lost 9 pounds, and I am so excited about it. I have tried many different programs in the past, but they did not work for me. I have a very strong sugar craving, and I always gave in to that craving. And so I was a little hesitant to try the Neolife weight loss program because I didn't want to fail. I did not want to fail once again. But to my pleasant surprise, these products are amazing, and I no longer have the sugar cravings. I have a Neolife shake for breakfast and for lunch, and I feel full, and I do not crave sugar, which is the greatest thing for me because I was such a sugar addict. And I'm so thankful to have begun this weight loss journey with Neolife because I feel so much better. I see the inches coming off also, and my clothes are fitting better. I had bad arthritis in my knees. I had bad knee pain, and that has gone away. I'm sure it's because of the quality shakes and also because I'm not eating inflammatory foods. So I'm excited now because I'll be able to play with my grandchildren and not have to worry about the aches and pains that I was getting before. And I could hardly get up off the floor, but all that is changing now. And I'm going to continue with this program because the results have been amazing so far. And I know it will just get better as I continue. And it's just been wonderful to see the changes in my health and in my body. And this program has really been an answer to a prayer, to my prayer.
We spent a little bit of time with her. She was visiting, she's from Texas, and she came to visit us here in town, and she was just glowing. And she even said to me, Nada, she goes, I'm just so blessed that I can literally get down on my knees and play with my grandkids. She goes, I really struggled with getting up off the floor. She goes, now I'm so excited just to play and not worry about that. So it was just just a beautiful story. So I was so happy for her to share with us this evening. And there's some of you are not necessarily looking for weight loss, but you're looking at improving your fitness, getting more active. So we do have other systems to help to support your fitness journey. And, you know, with NeoFit 90, you have the freedom to take charge of your health journey. You determine your goal, and NeoLife products to help you achieve it. And we're there to help and guide you. And it's an amazing system called NeoFit 90. There's a support group. And again, just another way to help you improve some of the goals that you want to achieve. So let's talk a little bit about our healthy weight loss program. Now for faster weight loss, and that's what Liz was doing, she was replacing 2 of her meals, her breakfast and her lunch, with the NeoLife shake, but having mini meals in between with a healthy dinner at the end of the day. So you're not just living on protein shakes. And that's really important as well, because regulating blood sugar is key. And that's what these snacks. And we will send you a little list of mini meals and what kind of food that you can be eating in between the protein shakes. And you can even add a protein bar. If you like the NeoLife bars, if you make your own protein bars, that's another option, especially for those of you that don't like to prepare meals or don't have time to prepare snacks. Then we also have an amazing option with our protein bar, which is a great healthy snack as well. And we have some mini meal lists that we can send you as well, just so you can see the variety of different snacks that you can have in between your shakes. And when you look at these, you can see probably something that's common in all of these snacks. There's a protein in every snack. So protein and carb combination, or even just the protein, like the cashews, NeoLife bar. So it's important to have protein with a little bit of carb with some of these snacks to keep that blood sugar, to keep it in that glycemic control zone, which is the fat burning zone. And then there's these options as well. One of my favorite is the grapefruit with some cheese, cottage cheese and peaches. Cottage cheese and tomato is one of my favorite. Hard-boiled egg, that is definitely one of the go-tos for myself. Cheese and tomato, again, 12 almonds and a small fruit. 3 slices of low-fat cheese with a half an apple. So again, as you can see, the protein with the carb, you're not just eating the apple. So again, just to keep that blood sugar. And again, it was clinically proven for weight loss, to reduce 10% body fat, lowers the BMI, cardioprotective, and again, 50% reduction LDL, which is the bad cholesterol, to improve HDL ratio to LDL. So that's really, really important. And we also have a vegan option for those of you that are looking at a vegan or plant-based product as well. Definitely a choice, and it tastes really good compared to some of the other vegan options that are out there. Now, Maryellen, Gabby has a beautiful story. I know she's a dear friend of yours and part of your team, and maybe you can share her journey.
Yeah, Gabby got amazing results with this program because her sister, she was actually living out west, and her sister went to visit her because her husband had passed away from complications of diabetes. Actually, he was only 40 years old and she was 30. And she said, I've got to get myself, be a role model for my kids, and I want to feel better. So she actually used the breakfast pack, which is the shake and the Pro Vitality for breakfast, and the mini meals and healthy eating for the rest of the day. She lost 34 pounds. But what's really good is this was a lifestyle change for her. So you can see 5 years later, she still looks incredible, and she's kept the weight off. And I think actually it's 6 or 7 years now. And when you see Gabby, she looks wonderful. This is Gabby's mom, and she lost 20 pounds in 5 months. And she was when she started losing the weight, her doctor was actually able to take her off her diabetic medication, and she's still off of it to this day. And she looks fantastic. I think she's in her 80s now. And this is Carlos. He lost 251 pounds in 26 months. And he was also, his blood sugar came down, his blood pressure. Like, when you start losing all that weight, it has so many health benefits, as we all know. So, and when I met him, I was so impressed because I said, Carlos, a lot of people are afraid to lose so much weight because, you get saggy skin and you have to have surgery. And he said, I lost my fat, but I didn't lose my muscle. So he had fantastic results. And a product that supports our breakfast pack it's called Glucose Support. And you take this with your 2 largest meals, and I'll just share one of my friends. He was having a lot of trouble with his with his blood sugar. He was on 2 medications, having really serious side effects from one. So they took him off the one, and they wanted to start him on another one. And I said, you know what? Why don't you just try the glucose support and see what happens? And his blood sugar has balanced completely out. Like it's the best his blood sugar's been in years and years and years, and he feels so much better. And the reason it works, it's a unique botanical blend of natural whole food source botanicals. And a lot of you are hearing about the benefits of things like cinnamon and curcumin and turmeric because they support healthy glucose levels during fasting and after meals. And these spices are very rich in what are known as polyphenols. But this isn't just the cinnamon you buy in the grocery store. This is a specific type that's rich in bioactives that's effective for supporting this healthy glucose metabolism. Studies show it can decrease insulin resistance. So remember, I talked about that. That's when the cell can't let the glucose, the insulin can't get in the door, right? So it helps with that. It slows stomach emptying, so you feel fuller. It slows rate of sugar absorption and enhances that insulin receptive. And turmeric, you hear so much about the benefits of this traditional spice in Indian cuisine and medicine, and it supplies those polyphenic curcumoids, which are very bioactive, and they help maintain normal blood sugar, have a role in diabetes prevention, and protect from diabetes-related complications. And the most bioactive phytonutrient component of turmeric is curcumin. It's because it's rich in these polyphenols. So there's tremendous potential impact for low-level inflammation. And that's why you hear a lot of people take these things, even for arthritis and things, because of the inflammatory connection. And which these are associated, of course, with chronic lifestyle-related conditions. And polyphenols are anti-inflammatory, anti-cancer, anti-thrombogenic, which that's, of course, in heart disease, right? Neuroprotective, protects the nerves, and anti-diabetic. So many benefits, because the key for healthy aging is preventing inflammation and oxidation, those two evil twins of aging. And some other benefits of turmeric, curcumin, and cinnamon: cognitive function and well-being. We want our brain to be there when we get there. Blood lipids, of course, controlling blood, especially so many people are on statins, and general reduction of low-level inflammation. And they also put some chromium in there because that's an essential trace mineral, and it's a critical cofactor with insulin for the metabolism of carbohydrates, that's one of the biggest problems diabetics have. They cannot metabolize carbohydrates. It's vital for normal cellular responsiveness, and it also contains alpha lipoic acid, which is a powerful antioxidant in all the body cells, protecting from free radicals. Supports the cell's ability to utilize insulin and normal blood sugar. So that's why people find when they take this, it works in so many areas, as you can see here in the body. Very powerful product. And a flavonoid-rich diet may reduce risk of type 2 diabetes. So this was published in the Journal of Nutrition in February of 2014. And it's showing that it definitely plays a role in eating. High levels of flavonoids are found like in berries and tea and chocolate, could offer protection from type 2 diabetes by lowering insulin resistance and improving blood glucose regulation. And that's what we want. We want to keep that blood sugar steady. And we also have these polyphenols in our Tray product. It also has alpha lipoic acid, and also in our flavonoids. So this is other ways, especially, it's really hard to eat a lot, especially, the price of all those berries right now is just astronomical, to eat all those different pomegranate, blueberry, acai, green tea. It's really, really tough. And again, there's lots of research on blood sugar management with these polyphenols. And it was a meta-analysis study said that the daily intake of resveratrol may improve glucose and insulin sensitivity in people with diabetes. So important. And also fiber is very important in the Neolife because it slows down the blood sugar absorption. And the Neolife fiber is very unique because it's all 5 types of fiber from 12 different sources. It's got soluble and insoluble. Most of the time it's just insoluble, which is bran, so you don't get all the benefit, especially it's a soluble that absorbs the fat naturally. It's rich in oat fiber, which is very good for your heart. It helps remove cholesterol without robbing nutrients, and it slows down the absorption of sugar, which is plus regularity too. You have to get rid of those toxins in your body. So, so important. And it's only 1 gram of fat per serving, no cholesterol, added salt, corn, wheat, proteins, preservatives, or sulfites. So it's a really good, and you can bake with it. You can put it in all your different products. So Nada, we talked about a lot of products tonight, but do you want to summarize with our total health and wellness solutions?
Absolutely. When you hear some of the stories and the testimonials, that breakfast solution is definitely the core nutrition. And then if you have, that goal of weight loss, then sometimes taking the extra step and doing the 2 shakes a day with the weight loss solution might be the solution for you. And adding that glucose support for the diabetes would be a great add-on product. And we have a variety of other products for digestion, gut health, and all of those areas. So it really depends on some of the challenges that you're having, but really starting with a simple system like that breakfast solution is always an amazing place to get started. And we do have different products for other targeted solutions that you're looking for, but that breakfast solution is definitely a great place to start. And we even have amazing stories, even with type 1 diabetes. I know, Maryellen, we've had people that with type 2 where doctors were able to take people off medication. But David Thompson's story is just so powerful, even with a type 1 diabetic journey. So I would love for you to listen to his story as well.
Hey everybody, my name is David Thompson and I'm a 34-year-old type 1 diabetic. I was first diagnosed when I was 25 years old back in 2007. At the time I had some vision problems and I didn't think much more of it than I'm probably just going to have glasses. So I went to my local optometrist, he did his exam and he was a little bit concerned that it could be something more serious, and he told me that I should get checked out to see if I was a diabetic. And at that time, that really confused me because there was nobody in my family with a history of diabetes. So it was Thanksgiving Day. I remember I checked after my meal, and my blood sugar the very first time I ever checked it was 550. And I know now that that is extremely dangerous and very, very bad. But, at the time, that number didn't really mean anything to me. It was the first time I ever checked, and I didn't know that a normal blood sugar should only be about 100. So I didn't show too much concern in having to get it taken care of immediately, but I set an appointment to go see a specialist a couple weeks later. And I remember he did an A1C test, which is an average blood sugar. And when he did that, my A1C came back at over 15%, and my average blood sugar was like 440. I remember he gave me insulin right there in the office. Like, I had to take my first injection before he would even let me leave the room. And then a year later, I was able to get put on an insulin pump, which is what I still wear today. And it's a device that I have to wear 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, that acts as like an artificial pancreas. Still today, that is the best form of control for a type 1 diabetic. And with that, my blood sugar did drop a little bit. My average dropped to 250, which is still, double what it should be. And my fasting, which is the first time I check in the morning, my fasting blood sugars were always 350. Sometimes they were over 400. And no matter what I did, no matter what I ate, I could never get it better. And it stayed like this for 8 years. And I just figured, you have an autoimmune disorder, there's no cure for it, you're going to have to learn to live with this. So I just dealt with the highs and the lows and the irritable moods and all the things that come with that. And thankfully, I didn't have anything really serious happen until I'd say May of 2015. And that was just a couple months before my wife found out about Neolife, which is the product that I have been taking ever since I found out about it. And I'll tell you why. So she started taking it in June of 2015 and didn't know much about it. Just she thought it was a weight loss program. And it was mid-July, and she wanted to go to a shake party to learn what it was all about because she was experiencing some amazing results. And supportive husband got drug along with her to the shake party, and I'm sitting there in the back of the room with my arms crossed, and I'm not paying attention to what the guy's saying. I'm hearing him, but I'm not actually listening. And then he got to a point where he talked about the glycemic response control in the Neolife shakes. And that really perked my interest because that to me means blood sugar control. So I started paying attention and listening to what actually was being said at the shake party. And I remember the end of the shake party, I ran out to my car as fast as I could, grabbed my wallet. When I came back in, I bought the weight loss pack, which is the Pro Vitality and 2 shakes a day. And the reason that I wanted to do that is I had a little bit of weight to lose, but I mainly wanted 2 meals a day where I didn't have to worry about my blood sugar at all. And it was August 1st of 2015 that I started. And I remember on August 2nd, overnight, my fasting blood sugars that were, 350 to 400 sometimes, 146 in one day. And, this blew my mind. How can something this simple to do have this effect on my body? I haven't been able to have a controlled blood sugar in 8 years. And all of a sudden I have it in one day. So I wanted to put this product to the test because I was a big skeptic. So for the next month, I ate the same poor diet that I used to eat, the fast food, the pastas, the pizzas, and I didn't do very much exercise. And 30 days later, I found out that I had lost 10 pounds. My average blood sugar dropped to 131, and I cut the amount of insulin I use in half. So I'm saving tons of money on my insulin. I'm feeling great. I'm losing weight. My blood sugars are in complete control. So now I really got to take it seriously. So I started eating better, exercising. Fast forward about 16 months now, I had lost 25 pounds, gained a little bit back because we're going to the gym. So we're putting on muscle using the exact same products to control my diabetes that my wife is using for her weight loss testimonies, for her anxiety. So, I mean, it's amazing what your body can do when it's given the correct nutrients. And, the future that I see for myself now is absolutely amazing. Amazing blood sugar control, great weight loss. I feel great. I feel energetic. I feel like I am the old husband that my wife met 13 years ago. And I am so grateful to Neolife and these amazing whole food nutritional products that they offer. Thank you guys. Bye.
And we've hung out with them a couple of times at different events, Maryellen, and just listening to his story is so precious.
Yep.
And
There we go.
I know, and I wouldn't recommend everybody just eating all the junk food. He was just doing an experiment. He was still doing the 2 Neolife shakes a day, so he was lucky that saved him. But it's definitely not something that we would recommend. But at least he was able to do that even when he was eating poorly. Again, because of the good quality supplements that Neolife has to offer to fill the gap, totally what was missing in his diet. But these are the different health packs that we're looking at. So the Pro Vitality is just the Vitality pack on its own, or the Breakfast Solution is when you're doing the 1 shake a day. And the Weight Loss Solution is when you're doing your 2 shakes a day. So these are the 3 different health packs. And when you go on what we call NeoShip, you do get a 20% discount that we're going to be talking about as well. We also have an amazing referral program. When you introduce 3, you get your health pack free every single month. So I love the referral system because it really helps people get their products for free, which is, I think, not a bad deal. Especially when people see a difference in you, it's hard not to share what these amazing products have done for you and how it can help your family and your friends. And, there is another option. If you or someone really enjoys helping others. So when I looked at this over 35 years ago, I was not looking for an income opportunity. I was really thinking that I was just going to, share it with my family and my friends. But when I saw the impact the products made on my mom and my health and my aunts and my sisters and my neighbors and friends, I saw this as an avenue to maybe leave my job. I knew I didn't want to be a police officer for the rest of my life. So I thought maybe a little side gig and just see what happens. And if you or someone really enjoys helping others, this is a great company to get involved with because you really have an impact in people's lives. But you can get started as a member for free just to try the products. And that's a great place to start. And when you go on NeoShip, you get a 20% savings, which is doubling your discount from 10 to 20%. And you can, again, earn your products for free, like I shared earlier as well. Or as a promoter, where can you start a business in Canada for as little as $98? That's a great deal. In the US, 75. And that unlocks a savings of 25% on every order. And then we help you every step of the way. You have access to the marketing plan, compensation plan, and your business for yourself, but you're never by yourself. We work together as a team. The support is absolutely fantastic. There we go. Oh, and again, you decide. Talk to the person invited you here this evening, ask questions. If you just want to try the products and get a discount, become a club member for free. If you're curious about that side gig, making an extra $200 to $500 a month or $1,000 or more, just ask. And we can help and guide you in that direction as well. And if you're not ready right now and you just want to learn more, that's okay too. Join us at our Thursday evening events like this, where you can learn more just about health in general. I think next Thursday, Maryellen is going to be covering eye health, because there's so many challenges with eyes. So these are the kinds of presentations we host to educate people, understanding how good quality nutrition, food, and supplementation can fill the gap to really help you live a healthier life. So again, thank you so much for joining us tonight, Maryellen. Thank you for your expertise. Appreciate all you do. And we'll stop the recording and open up to any questions that anybody may have. So thank you again for joining us tonight.